Hello and welcome to Wisdom 101. My name is Nate Guadani, and I have a very special guest for you today. Lee Holden, he is a world-renowned Qi Gong teacher. He's an author, producer, an acupuncturist. He's the founder of Holden Qi Gong, and he's also the owner of the Qi Center here in Santa Cruz, California. He's known to make the esoteric teachings of Taoist training and Qigong more accessible to the modern student without compromising the essence. I've just enrolled and kind of wrapping up the 200-hour teacher training program. It's really been above and beyond my expectations. We've been out on the beach doing Qigong in Santa Cruz to the redwood forest. It's been just really impactful, life-changing, and I'm feeling really invigorated. And I've been able to tackle him and hold him down for a short interview. So I'm really excited to share it with you. So thank you so much for taking the time.
You got me by the shoestrings. Here we are. That's great. It's been wonderful having you in the training too. And I just love these in-person trainings where people get to really immerse themselves in an experience. Not only learn a bunch, but also, like you were speaking to, have this transformational experience when you go home. It's like, wow, I just gathered a whole bunch of new tools and skill sets that are really going to be impactful for my life and leading a life that's more energized, connected, and empowered.
For sure. Yeah, and you've been doing this for a little while now.
Yeah, 31 years.
My gosh.
Yeah, I tell people I started in my early 60s, so it's good for longevity.
Yeah, I'm round in 72. And
you are?
I'm looking.
Fantastic. You look great.
All this Qigong and yoga.
Us old men here are really doing well with this practice.
Yeah.
No, but it has been 31 years of diving into this practice for myself, and then also teaching, because I got really excited about it when I was in college. I just wanted to share it with my friends and family, and sometimes I didn't have a language to share it, or it didn't make any sense. We're talking about energy and spirituality, and even things like mindfulness or yoga wasn't even all that popular at the time. And I had a profound impact on my life, and then it just has been sort of my mission to be able to share this work with people in ways that improve their lives.
Yeah. Well, and it really is, like, when you think of Qigong, I mean, you're really on the forefront of the American teachers. A lot of this stuff can get really out there.
I do know that.
You've been sharing stories of, you go to a Qigong session, you're swallowing your saliva for an hour.
45 minutes. And you're like, this is why Qigong isn't popular yet. Swallow your saliva and do some crazy movements, and people don't know why they're doing what they're doing. Yeah. It might have some, really great benefits, but we have to meet people where they are, show them the benefits, and help them to utilize it and have something they can experience right away.
Right. Yeah. And that's really what I love about Qigong. I've trained in yoga and in Tai Chi and in martial arts and different things, and like Qigong is simple enough that you can really, in a day, you can experience that sense of flow and connection. You can tap into like a tangible sense of meditation, something that really holds your attention there. I found it really accessible. I personally like to teach boomers and seniors adaptive yoga, and it's just like a match made in heaven. What is your experience with kind of the blending or bringing the yoga elements or people who are looking for those benefits? How do they connect with Qigong? Yeah,
I think, just basic history, that yoga comes from India and Qigong from China. So sometimes Qigong is called Chinese yoga. There's some very distinguished differences in the practices. I think flow is one of them. So in Qigong we have movements that are slow and fluid and graceful, which are interesting because they're like, well, I'm moving so slowly, what am I doing? What are the benefits of this? Tai Chi is an art where you're moving really slowly, and it's a martial arts practice. So slow movement is distinguishing Qigong and Tai Chi, because no other form of exercise really does that. And there's some amazing things that happen when you slow down and you let your body move like water. So water is a very powerful element. In fact, when we think about yoga, water is the most flexible of all the elements. And so that goes really well, because when you do a series of vinyasa flows or stretches or asanas, and then can do some Qigong afterwards, your body's nice and open, the energy's already activated and circulating, and then it's really easy to drop into these flows. So I've taught a lot of workshops and classes at yoga centers, and it just is so well received. Nice. People are looking for something that maybe, you don't want a real strong workout, maybe you want something that's a little bit more accessible that you can do at your desk. Maybe you want something that's more mindful in nature and more connected. Just the focus is directly on energy and energy cultivation. So I feel like they're really synergistic, and each one has something to offer the other one,
right,
to balance it.
Yeah, that's exactly what I've noticed. Because like in yoga, it can be very linear, and there is a real energy in the philosophy. They talk about the prana, and besides pranayama, the breathing, or some kundalini a little bit, there isn't really a direct, like, tangible connection with the energy.
Right.
And like that's what's so spectacular about Qigong, is that you really do sense and feel, and there's just something different about being connected to that flow.
Yeah.
And it's very, very important, and it's so powerful, because sometimes you'll do yoga, you'll feel the physical benefit, but you never really get into that, just the unified state where the energy really blends.
Right.
And I found them very compatible.
This is great. Yeah, we're looking for things that help to blend our physical form and our energy, or even emotions and mind, something that's formless. So we've been talking about form and formless and how these integrate. Physical health, emotional balance, mental clarity. And, with this practice, we can really get all three. We don't often have time for a gym workout, a yoga class, and a meditation class. So Qigong is a little bit of everything in one. And when what I call alchemy of movement, when you create these blended forms, you get this recipe of a really wonderful elevation in your practice that gets you to an internal state where you feel empowered, that you've done something really good for your mind, body, spirit, and there's some tangible sensation during class where you feel like, wow, I feel this power that's within me. Ultimately, Qigong is about how do we tap into our human potential, our energetic potential, our physical potential, where we lead very happy and fulfilled, energetic lives.
Right.
Yeah.
And I always love, during the training, you share stories of like going to China and going to, Thailand and meeting these incredible masters.
Yeah.
And, they have powers that are really extraordinary
Yeah.
and hard to believe if you wouldn't see it firsthand.
Very true.
And I understand you're doing a production around kind of interviews. Can you tell us about that?
Yeah, I'm doing a movie. It's called Superhuman. And this movie just kind of fell into my lap. The team who made the movie The Secret, they reached out to me and asked me if I had some connections with people with extraordinary abilities, and I put them in touch with a few people. And after working with them for some time, the production has now, through a series of events, now been passed on to me. So I'm producing this movie, and we're just wrapped up filming, and now we're in the editing phase, and it's looking amazing. We have some extraordinary people in this production: yogis, Qigong masters, meditation experts. We have people from Russia to Bali to Indonesia to India and China. So.
And what is the message behind the movie? What do you want people to know about these extraordinary people? How does that connect to the everyday person?
Right. I think really what the message of the movie is that we all have a potential and a power within us that we can tap into. And what is your potential? What is your power? What is, how do we tap into that for ourselves? And really these people are just examples of what our human potential is. They're sort of the gold medalists in Qigong or yoga. They're just like the top of the top. And it's not really about proving that what they can do is actually real, but it's inspiring people. I was inspired every time I met somebody or even watched the footage. And what does it inspire me to be? Who do I want to become? And we all have a way in which we put these ceilings on ourselves. What's possible? What's possible for my happiness? What's possible for my family life? My financial abundance? We constrain ourselves when really those ceilings and those walls can be pushed up and out when we have the right models, when our belief is opened up, when your mind gets blown.
Right.
Yeah.
It really is. Like, I remember when I was taking Taekwondo, one of my teachers, she's one of the world champion, she breaks bricks and boards and stuff.
Right.
And it's just incredible how she'll, the power in a human body to just, to break 9 boards in a kick.
Yeah.
And it's like, okay, maybe I don't need to do that, but to know that there's this tremendous power and potential in the human body is very inspiring. I might apply that to something that's relevant to me.
Yeah.
And it sounds like Qigong can be a way to tap into whether or not you're, electrocuting people or you're lighting a newspaper on fire, but perhaps
Yeah.
you're igniting something important in your life and applying that energy to your career or something.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely, right? I mean, are we going to teach people how to break 9 bricks in this interview?
Yeah,
Just
do you
the
wanna,
easy stuff, right?
Do you want to show us?
I was going to break this table. It's a little bit old anyways, but
Yeah, right.
Well, that's true. I mean, martial arts power and stuff. And people that break bricks, when scientifically they study, they put the crash test dummy equipment on them. And when they break a stack of bricks, the pound for pound pressure, 2,000 pounds per square inch, it should shatter the bones, but it doesn't.
Right.
So there's something in our minds that defies physical reality. And this is what the movie is all about. It goes through a nice movie arc where our protagonist learns how to acquire these powers for himself, but it wasn't the power that really changed him, changed his authentic self. It wasn't really what he was looking for. So when he acquires this power, this Qi power that's extraordinary, it didn't change him in the way that it thought. And so then he has to go through this second journey of sorts to lead us to the culmination of the movie.
Right.
So, which is something more in our minds and our spirits, in our hearts. How do we have the energy within ourselves to make the world a better place and change some of the circumstances where people are suffering, and we can lead them to some kind of liberation where they feel their most authentic self. And we can just see it everywhere that we look. So whether it's Qigong or yoga or meditation, people are needing tools and resources to lead happier, healthier lives and more connected lives. And they feel part of a community that's supportive, or part of nature. We're not destroying the world, we're enhancing it by being here.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And you've really done a great job. I mean, you've produced an incredible body of work. There's DVDs, there's videos. You've now really, I think, led the way on the online training.
Yeah.
Like I took in my 200-hour, I'm in Portland, so I took, a whole series of classes online that were live streamed. And then now I'm here in person. So this kind of blending, there's people here from all over the world, and there's people tuning in from all over the world.
Right.
It's very exciting. So tell us, what is your vision? Where do you want to take Qigong into the world?
It's good. I mean, I love this blending of ancient wisdom with modern technology. I mean, I like using technology for good, right? Because so often technology, it brings us down, but when we can connect and elevate and try to make a change for this healthy and positive ways. We have people from New Zealand tuning into the training, and they're joining us from their homes. And so it makes it really accessible that they can have this ancient wisdom that has somehow from China, from India, 3,000 years ago, been now passed along, and we have this information available to us. And I feel like these techniques are more relevant now than they ever have been, because people are stressed out. Modern medicine isn't the answer to all their problems, or not. It's not the answer to how to live with vibrant health. It might, we might use it for some disease or some broken bone, but how to live with vibrancy, it doesn't give us the answer to that. And these ancient practices do. And they're ancient practices that help us with our healing within ourselves, and that can really make an impactful change in the world for the better. Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah.
And so what would you like to share with viewers before we wrap up? And is there a message you'd like to give for people who may be new to Qigong or who are thinking of integrating it?
Yeah. I think over Qigong, it's, like we said, the real simple definition is a practice of less stress, more energy. And people, I feel like in modern life, are really stressed out and fatigued at the same time. So it's a practice that replenishes and nourishes. It helps to nourish our both kinds of energy, yin and yang. Yang is the energy of activity, but yin energy is something that's really missing, where we can actually rest, unwind, sleep well, meditate clearly, be out in nature. So this yin energy is really much cultivated in Qigong practice with flows, so that we can nourish ourselves, so that we actually have enough energy to go out and get everything that we need to get done.
Right.
I think people, just to be inspired that they have a tremendous energy within themselves, whether you're working on some health or healing related issue for yourself, a relationship issue, a larger context issue, whether it's politically or environmentally. We need energy in the right direction to make a change and to shift things in a more positive direction. And that's really what my goal or my passion is to give people tools and resources for empowerment.
Nice.
Yeah.
Well, you're doing an amazing job, and it's, it really is. There's so much need for energy, and there really is this need for this flow and this ability to tap into something powerful and something intrinsic. a lot of our exercises, they may build our muscles, but they deplete our energy, or we may sit still, but then we become very inactive. And I really love the blending of that intense power. And even though, it's deceptive because it may look very gentle and easy, but sometimes you'll be standing there and so much is happening inside of us that it's almost like a different strength is needed. It's not just like a physical fatigue, but there's an emotional churning. There's a mental element and a physical and energetic one. It's this incredible, like you said, alchemy of these elements.
Because we integrate who we are. We integrate our mind, our emotions, and our body. What is the integrating factor? It's this energy. Energy, or Qi, prana, is the bridge between these seemingly separate aspects of ourselves. And when they're lined up, we have power, and when they're in discord, we feel fatigued. And so you can feel, as you were describing, this realignment of ourselves. It's like when the river flows and it moves all together, there's power. When the water doesn't have flow, it's not powerful. And so when you have an alignment and a flow, you become powerful. And that takes some blending together of different ways. So this alchemy of movement, where you're in motion but you're relaxed, or your body is stationary but energy is moving. And it creates this really dynamic expression of energy, and we're dynamic creatures, so we might as well express dynamically and creatively.
And I love how Qigong really connects us to nature, because we look at the intention. You're talking about why are we doing this, and a lot of times we're really on a machine, or we're watching a TV, and we're kind of exercising the body, but Qigong is like moving like water, standing like a tree, and you really do tap into these essential elements that I think bring us into connection with nature, not just like as a human being we generally dominate it, or we're suffering because of it, but how do we live in harmony with nature, with ourselves, and with our community? These principles are really intrinsic, it seems like.
Wow, just so true. A lot of the movements derived from watching the movements of nature. Cloudy hands, tree in the wind, things like this, because nature moves with effortless power, and somehow we've forgotten to move with this effortless ease through our life. We struggle and strain. And in Qigong, they say, don't push the river. But in modern life, we're standing in the middle of the river, pushing on it and getting all stressed out and tight in our bodies. And we want to go with the flow, this natural flow that's going on. Right? We even said this morning, the river doesn't look from the top of the mountain and go, oh my God, look at all these rocks I have to get over. I'm so stressed out. Tomorrow is going to be so stressful. It just flows. And we want to be able to have a flow in our lives. When we feel a sense of flow, we feel good. And when we feel discord or strain, then we feel, down or out of balance. And so there's real simple ways to elevate our energy so that we actually empowered to feel good and bring our best selves into all our activities.
Beautiful. Yeah. Well, as a yoga teacher, I really encourage, if you're a yoga teacher, a dance instructor, a martial artist, really consider integrating Qigong into your practice for your students. It's been so compatible. Students have really raved about it. And, and if you're looking for a training, Holden Qigong, like I said, is the best I've found. And, if you get a chance, come and train with Lee. He's really down to earth and humble. A lot of times teachers, they'll kind of disappear off and then they'll reappear. And I've really appreciated how you've been present with us, and really you've been able to be connected and really not try to put yourself on a pedestal, and you've been really, really down to earth, and that's so invaluable, as we've seen so many teachers who elevate themselves and they inevitably fall from grace, and it's refreshing to see a system, that's somewhat it's a little less, pretentious or trying to take the mystique out of it, yet being really true to it. So I really encourage people, if you're interested in bringing these elements to your practice, to your students, check out Holden Qigong. Where can people find out more about it?
Yeah, you just said Holden Qigong, and Qigong is QIGONG.com, holdenqigong.com. You can even email support@holdenqigong.com and get a lot of information. We have, I like to make things really accessible, so I have a lot of accessible programs for people just to try it. I have my weekly classes are filmed. You can take them online. And then we have a bunch of condition-specific, whether you have neck pain or digestive issues. We have a bunch of condition-specific programs. And then, of course, the teacher training. Now it's even more flexible, where you can do it online or you can come here in person, or some combination of both. Of course, we'd love to see you here in person and have you try a class or become a teacher, because I think Qigong is on the rise just because it has so much to offer for people and where they are in their modern life.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Awesome. Well, thank
Yeah.
you so much for
Thank
sharing
you.
your wisdom.
Much
It's
appreciated.
Really been a pleasure.
Yeah, it's been a pleasure to have you.
Yeah.
Thank you.
And thank you so much for watching. Do check out Holden Qi Gong. Write us a comment if you have a question, and please share. And thank you again.